here I write under the pen name Miranda K. Dark, and if you're wondering why I look like I just woke up, I did. So, I said I was going to try to be publishing a video weekly, and I kind of sort of did with shorts for a bit. And then I just didn't because I got caught up in the, oh, but I'm not wearing fashionable clothes. I haven't put on my makeup. I look like I just rolled out of bed because I did. I actually pushed my hair down a bit because it was, wow. But I have been trying to push past my tendencies towards perfectionism because they are harmful. Sometimes they can be motivational in a good way, and in this instance, it leads to me ultimately just not putting out content in any capacity. And if I really want all of the things that I do as side hustles to eventually replace my day job, which is literally causing me physical harm at this point, which is part of the reason I kind of slowed down on the writing, but more on that in a minute. Yeah, I'm never gonna get things done if I don't just do the damn thing. So if you too are caught in the endless cycle of, oh, I can't put this out because it's not perfect, to hell with that. Just do it. Plenty of people don't have professional cameras, professional setups, fancy backdrops, wonderful lighting. They just get on their phone with the crappy lighting. You can hardly see them. And you know what? Some of those people, I enjoy their content more than the people with professional setups. So even though I do have stuff for professional setups, I can't be asked to bother setting things up sometimes. So here we are. It is 8:30 in the morning right now, and I've actually been awake for a while, but it is cold, as you can tell by the fact that I am wearing this giant hoodie blanket thing. And I don't work until 2 o'clock, and I didn't want to get up this morning. I am so disillusioned with life and many things at the moment that it's just, no, didn't want to get up. So, the whole reason I'm making this video in particular is that I wanted to talk about why I lost NaNoWriMo this year and why for the first time I'm not terribly upset about it. And it has nothing to do with the Nano forum nonsense that's going on that's currently being investigated by them. There are things about that all over the place. You can take it or leave it. My personal opinion, continue to use the site, continue to participate in NaNoWriMo themed events if you want to change the name because it makes you feel better, whatever. I just would not support them monetarily until there is some sort of resolution to the grooming allegations, that there is evidence actually occurred and the way it was not handled in the best of ways. And as somebody who has children, I obviously do not support that sort of behavior, and if you have half a brain, you'll understand why grooming is a bad thing here and has nothing to do with brushing your hair. But from what I read of the responses, it sounds to me like the forums in general have grown beyond the scope of what their current staff can handle. So they probably didn't notice and respond to things as quickly as they should have because they just don't have people trolling through the boards all day looking for issues. Which, you know, that's on them. If you can't handle something where people can instantly comment back and forth to each other, you can't moderate that, maybe you need to either get more moderators or remove the feature. So I would not be surprised if going forward they just don't have forums on their website. There we go, and I said I wasn't going to talk about it very much, and I did anyway. So if you didn't know, now you know. I had a silly idea the last week of October. I decided to participate in NaNoWriMo, which is an effort to write 50,000 words during the month of November. I have one in the past, but November is usually a really busy month for me. And this isn't to make excuses. It can be done. On top of having a full-time job, being a single mom, and all the other fun freelance things that I do to ensure we still have a roof over our heads and food in our bellies, the urge to create something still eclipses everything else. I also run this channel and another one. I have a fairly active Twitter account, which is really my only adult human interaction outside of seeing people at work, because I just go to work, take my kids to school, get my kids from school, go to the grocery store, come home. I don't have local friends, so the only people that I talk to, I interact with through a screen, like all of you. And I'm working on getting this book that I was working on during Nano ready for publication. I've got probably between 3 and 5 chapters to finish up. I'm definitely going to finish it by the end of this year, even though I'm definitely not going to finish it by the end of the month. So despite all of those other things going on, I did a full revision of what I had for this book so far. And this book is a, here you go for the word salad for my weird genre, because I'm going to self-pub, so I don't need to conform to your trad pub genre norms. It is reverse harem / why choose, because apparently some people think that harem is offensive. Urban fantasy romance with vampires. So you have a female main character and essentially 7 primary love interests that will probably expand a few over the next few books. So this story had been in limbo for a really long time before I decided to revise it, beginning of October-ish. And the idea of finishing the first draft, at least, with the prior revisions in 30 days is obviously very appealing. So I started the month off strong. I was hitting like 2K words a day for the first few days, and then life happened. Because life always happens, doesn't it? Yes, life always happens. And my day job keeps me busy at least 6 days a week. My younger son turned 9 on the 19th. And then Thanksgiving was 4 days after his birthday, and I have joint custody with my ex-husband. We have them week on, week off, so I had them for the whole week up through my younger son's birthday, and then he got them back for 2 days, and then I had them back for Wednesday through until the next Monday. So I had them a lot more than I usually do, and wanting to spend time with them instead of just tippity-tapping away at my computer. There you go, that's like 4 whole extra days, 5. I can't even count Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 5 whole days, 5.5 actually, if you count the morning. Yeah. That just, I wasn't writing hardly anything. And I watched the numbers start to dive, and I went, well, so much for that. But after I got over the initial, oh crap, there's no way in hell I'm gonna do this, even with doing some dictation like I started, I have the Dragon Anywhere software on my phone. So with one of those mono earbud mic dealies that's Bluetooth that connects to my phone, I was dictating in my car just to get some words in. Which isn't a bad idea, you know, as long as you're paying attention to the road and not like looking at the screen trying to correct things. You're just talking your words into existence. It's no more distracting than having the radio on or talking to somebody through the Bluetooth in the car. When my car stereo worked. My car stereo's been broken for like almost 3 months now. Fun fact. But you know, that's just how shit goes sometimes. Considering everything else going on in life, at this point I think I've added 18,000 new words to my document. 6 new chapters, working on the 7th, and going from my outline, which I foolishly had planned out to be quite lengthy, not really realizing that my chapters are long, very long, for most modern fiction, I guess, especially for romance fiction. That's why I have romance as my secondary genre, even though I am planning on having, you know, the happily ever after and all of that. Very long. Most modern romance books are very short, very punchy, very to the point. People don't like purple prose, and I'm like, why are you trying to write a movie in book form? The whole point of reading a book is to set the scene, to see the scene and everything going on in your head like it's a movie. But you don't get that if you give a laundry list of things that the character does rather than describing what they're doing. And that has been my primary complaint with a lot of the indie books that I have been reading lately, because I have been reading a lot, figuring out what works and what doesn't. And aside from marketability factors, for me, it's, would I want to read this? Because a lot of these indie books, even though they're not bad per se, they're very, I don't know, I guess I feel like they didn't live up to their full potential. You can tell that it's probably a second draft, but that they didn't have anybody else look over it with the exception of themselves. And they probably don't have very much editing experience thus far, if any at all. I have been writing seriously since I was about 16, 17 years old, so over 20 years at this point. And I am a get better by doing type, so I know a lot of people will say, or they won't even bother writing in general because they don't feel like they have the skills to do so yet. And people need to really just give themselves the grace to write shit to start with. I started out writing fan fiction when I was probably 12, 13. Dragon Ball Z fan fiction. So I don't do fanfic anymore because I know there's no money to be had in it. I do engage with some fanfic threads on Twitter just because they're fun, but I'm not going to spend my time writing like this 200,000 word epic fanfic that I can't do anything with. Because unfortunately, I have a limited amount of time, and time is money. And as fun as it might be and self-indulgent as it might be to just roll with a bunch of characters who already have pre-established settings, personalities, relationships with other people, kind of sort of plot arcs, that's why fan fiction is such a good entry-level writing practice for people, because you don't have to make everything up. So much of it already exists. You can just dive in and go, oh, well, if I write about this character, people are going to know that they act this way, that they say these things, that they're friends with this person, that they have a rivalry with this person, that they kind of sort of have a crush on this person. Whatever. When you're doing original work, all that has to come from here. And it does. Oh Lord, does it. I don't know how I managed to go probably about 7 years without really writing much of anything. Actually, I do. It's because I was married and my ex-husband was not supportive of it in the slightest, but you know. Having 18,000 new words added to this manuscript that I hadn't really touched in at least 6 months. For a while, I had a writing Patreon, and I was putting up a new chapter like every week, and I was really rolling with it good, and then life happened and totally got off track, and I figured that I was doing well enough monetarily that it wasn't something I needed to devote my time to. And now I'm not doing well enough monetarily to not have other things going on, which is really scary as an adult to be almost 40 and have to be working an extra 4+ hours doing freelance things online because my day job just doesn't cut it because they're raising my rent again. But here we are. So positive to failing NaNoWriMo is that I have written something every day this month, even if it was only 100 words. I have written something every single day. There have been a few days where I wrote well over 3,000 words. I think the biggest word day I had this month, I wrote close to 5K, which is pretty good. And I know that some people write very slowly. My regular writing speed back in the day, because I'm a dinosaur now, I could write easily 2,000 words in an hour. Closer to 3,000, honestly, when I was on a really good roll. And they would all be decent words. It wouldn't just be word salad, word vomit, expelled onto the page like some people seem to think. I am a very quick touch typist. My largest writing day ever, I wrote 18K in one day. And that was in about 7 hours total of writing. 7 or 8, spread out over the course of a whole day because I had that day off from work and I just told myself I was going to write as much as I could all day, and that was one of the times that I won NaNoWriMo. And that was for a story that isn't finished but has just been sitting for a very long time because it's very weird, and I don't know if I could clean it up and make it into something. Maybe I can. We'll have to see. But this book in particular, the one that I worked on for NaNoWriMo, I had planned it out to be, like, what did I say? I think 45 or 46 chapters. I've got my outline here. In my outline, because I am a plantser, mostly pantser, I like to have a 1 to 2 sentence idea written down for each paragraph. Good Lord, no, I would die. I could not live in that kind of stifling environment creatively. Every chapter has 1 or 2 sentences that pretty much sums up what's going to happen. So, yeah, 47, including the epilogue. And then I realized, because if you've written for any length of time, you know that the characters and the story does have a will and a trajectory of their own to an extent. They just kind of do whatever the hell they want. They're like, oh, you wrote an outline. You're cute. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So I try to wrangle them as much as I can with very minimal intervention because they do kind of do their own thing. The chapter I just finished was supposed to be chapter 27, and the chapter I just finished was actually chapter 31. I am currently at 90,000 words, and there is no way in hell that I am going to be able to reasonably market a paperback that's like 600 plus pages, because knowing the way that I write, by the time all is said and done, this would probably be at least 50 chapters. And my chapters, like I said, they're long. I always aim for 2,000 words. My average chapter is closer to 4. It's usually about 35 to 3,600 words. I have a few that are a little bit shorter, like 1,800, 15, 16, somewhere in there. But for the most part, my chapters are kind of lengthy, with usually 1 scene change. It just doesn't warrant a chapter break to me. So there's no way in hell that I'm going to be able to have a book that would probably come out to be about 170, 180K. And it's not epic fantasy. It's not epic fantasy. This is urban fantasy in a modern setting. So, no, because I want to put this out in paperback too. Nobody's gonna pay for like a 600 plus page paperback. So we've split the book. Long story short, all that rambling to get to the point. I found a good spot to actually split the book. because the big inciting incident is just about to happen. We're going to have a little bit of resolution, and it's kind of going to be cliffhangery. But I'm planning on having the second book done sometime next year. If I can really get rolling on it like I want to, probably 4 to 6 months after I get this one out, because once I finish writing it, I'm going to take January to get all the revisions done, get everything ready. I'm going to be promoting the ever-loving crap out of it. I want to put this out in February because February is my birthday month. And it's right by Valentine's Day, so all that romancy, lovey crap. I am so cynical, and I just woke up, so I am sorry. I am a bitter person. That's just all there is to it. But I think it'll be a good time, and it'll give me enough time to get maybe a blog tour or two set up, and get some ARC readers, and get some reviews set up before it even goes live. And if I can really pull it off, maybe get a pre-order up for it once I have everything set for the paperback. And I do all my own formatting and editing. I've done this self-publishing thing before. I've worked with a small printing press before. I know how all this crap goes. But now, in the era of TikTok and book talk, I am also having to consume massive quantities of book talk content to see how they're editing their marketing videos. And oh, this one has like over 1 million views, and this is an absolute nobody of an author. So clearly, this is the style that I need to be emulating if I really want to get this in front of people. So there's a lot of things to do, and there are only so many days. There are only so many days in an hour, you guys. So many days in an hour. Holy crap. There are only so many hours in a day. So I have to prioritize what I'm working on when. And with that said, I am excited with my progress, and I have developed a plan for finishing this damn thing. The first volume, at least. Since I have to split it into 2, because I waffle on endlessly, as you've seen from this now. I also feel bad putting up a video that's kind of just me talking. I know a lot of people don't mind that, but in the era of, oh, look how aesthetic and punchy all of the editing is, and everything looks so pretty, it's like, nobody's gonna just sit here and listen to me talk for, at this point, almost 30 minutes. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. If you did, thank you, and I appreciate you, and I love you, and you are a wonderful person. So leave a comment down below. Let me know if you did Nano, how it went for you, if you've got any writing or publishing goals going into 2024. I'm going to do my best to be more consistent with some posting for December. I'm going to be filming a lot of things this weekend because my work schedule for December is all messed up. So now I have a weekend day off when I don't have my kids, and I am planning to spend that entire day prepping content for this channel, my other channel, and getting writing done, and getting editing done, and getting cleaning done, and I'm gonna have to drink a lot of coffee to get all of those things done. So, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.